In today's video, we are going to see what happens when you take a plane and some paint and try to paint the plane in midair. Now, the whole basic idea of this idea is to put paint on the leading edge of an airplane wing, and then as you fly, the paint would supposedly spread out along the wing, making it look really cool. Now, I've never tried this before, and I have literally no idea whether or not it's going to work. So today, I'm just going to put it on this paper and see whether or not it's going to work while it's on the paper that is on the wing, and then if it works with the paper on the wing, we'll go ahead and try to do it on the plane itself. So for what we have the Bloody Wonder, very classic plane that I've used in literally
almost every video that I've posted ever.
And with that setup, we have a DYS motor. This one's actually slightly broken, but I needed it for a little bit more power and extreme efficiency, because one problem with putting paint on a wing like this is you actually have to let it dry as well. So we're going to have to stay in the air for a longer time, so we need a battery life that can last about 5 to 8 minutes. Luckily, there will be a lot of wind going over top of the wing, so we won't need near as much time to let the paint dry, but it's still, of course, an issue. So for the paint, we just have some acrylic paint. I have 4 different colors. I have orange, blue, yellow, and green. So we're gonna hopefully be able to do multiple colors along the plane wing, but for the first test, we're just gonna use 1 or 2 colors, just so we don't waste too much of our paint while trying this out. So that's about all for our setup. We're gonna go ahead and get into the air. First, apply some paint, get into the air, and then see whether or not this works. So for the colors, I think for the test one, we're going to do maybe green and orange, and then we'll save the blue and yellow. If all goes well, hopefully we'll still have some orange and green left over, so we can use those as well. But my main priority is keeping these ones in case we want to do some real painting with the plane. I want to test the consistency real quick of this. I'm going to grab a plate and see if it needs to be watered down. I don't think it does, but I want to check anyway. Turns out I forgot the plates, but I did bring knives, so I guess we'll have to put this on a knife. Oh man, that's pretty solid. Yeah, look at that. You can see it easily droops down the knife. Oh man, this is gonna work super well if it just does just like what it's doing right now. If anything, it would actually need to be a little thicker. We have our 2 paints, we have the GoPro, which I'm gonna strap on my head for extra footage, and we have a plane. We're ready to do this. Ooh. And this is the moment that I look absolutely ridiculous because my hair goes everywhere when I put this thing on, but it's worth the footage, so this is what we have to do. Alright, we're gonna make sure everything works here. There we go. I am kind of nervous on this one. It's not every day that you put wet paint on a plane, that's for sure. Whew, here we go. We're gonna try to stick this right on the top side of the wing. Open both up, do this super quick. See how we do this. Alright, paint's on. Time to fly. Alright, we are in the air. I'm going to try to give it some higher throttle power for this first bit, because I want the paint to spread out as much as I can. The plane is obviously not going to be trimmed perfectly, but I do not care because I'm just trying to get that paint to spread out as quickly as I can. One thing I did notice while I was doing it is how the paint kind of drooped down the front side and not just to the back like we wanted it to, so I really found it necessary to get that paint on there quickly. Alright, at this point most of the spreading's probably done, so now it's time for us to let it dry. So, cue the time lapse. It's about 3:25 and 30 seconds. We're gonna fly for about 5 more minutes. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa. Okay. Well, let's go check out the damage. First things first, we're gonna look at the power pack. Save the plane for later because the plane should have some cool colors to it at least. Okay. Looks like we have ESC. ESC is intact. Motor is fine, just a broken prop, of course. Battery is fine. Okay, so everything's fine here except for the broken prop. So let's go ahead and take a look at the plane. That looks super cool. Wow, it's completely spread out, so it's not dried. As you can see, it still has lots more potential spreading that it could have done. But that is a pretty cool look. Okay, so here's the deal. The motor is a little bit busted on the power pack. Not a huge deal, but it's true, it is busted. As you can see here. It's really not that bad. A little bit of glue would really fix this. I don't have any glue with me, but I might have a different solution. Everything else is fine in terms of electronics. The plane only has one little rip in it, so if I can somehow figure out a way to reattach this to the plane, we should still be able to fly. Hopefully. Okay, so it turns out the fact that I brought these plastic knives was actually really good because I'm beginning to form a solution in my mind where to attach this, I'm going to run an entire knife's worth of plastic through here, hopefully securing it for the rest of eternity so that this will never happen again. Okay, so there we go. We have our solution. Knife stuck through. It is rock solid. It is not going anywhere. It has to literally tear through all of this foam before it's getting knocked out. So pretty satisfied with that. Now we just have to change the prop. One unfortunate thing with that is that I actually only have one other prop besides this prop with me. So we cannot break the prop again at all. Okay, well, after the last incident, I decided to play it extra safe and wrap a whole bunch of tape around this, so that should help. But we are now ready. I think that after that test, even though the power pack did completely come off, the wing on here, it looked pretty cool, even though everything kind of went wrong. So I think I'm ready to take off this test paper and put it directly on the foam board to see if we can paint this plane in the sky, whether or not it's going to be cool. It might be a fail. The plane might bust open again. Who knows? But I definitely think it's worth a shot. So I need to pick a color scheme here. I'm thinking of just doing some orange and then going like orange, blue, yellow, orange, blue, yellow. No, I got a better idea. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start on the very tips of the wing. We're gonna move our way in. And we're gonna go orange, blue, and then yellow in the center. I think that's what we're gonna do. That's the plan. So we're gonna add some paint. First we gotta plug in our battery. We're gonna add some paint. We're gonna toss this. We're gonna hope that it flies first of all, and then hope that it paints well. So one thing I'm gonna do a little different than what I did last time is last time I just let the plane sit on the ground and then kind of pour the paint over top of it. But this time I'm gonna actually prop the plane up a little bit. That way I get a little bit of, of spreading out of the paint downwards before I actually toss it, because otherwise the paint kind of came forwards instead of flowing backwards from the beginning. So we're gonna do that, and then this time of course we have a little red line on the plane that is gonna be our marker for where we are starting with the paint. That way it'll just flow really nicely in a nice straight line. Opening up all of these bottles so that we have them at the ready once we've done the first color. Alright. We're going to make sure the wind is just a little low so that we don't have any mishaps from the wind safety. super speedy. I just need lots of paint here. Actually, a decent chunk of weight is probably from this paint. Alright, you can see we already have a little bit of color combination. Alrighty, there we go. Again, we are flying slow. We are not trying anything too intense. Oh man, I can already see the paint scheme coming in. Super slow, not too low. Remember, our goal here is going to be endurance. We hope to stay up in the air for a very long period of time. So long that I'm not even going to include it in the video. In fact, assuming everything goes well from this point forward, we are ready to, once again, oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. Alright, aborting. Trying to land. Okay, okay, okay. So we had a mishap. The motor completely came off. Remember how I was saying the firewall was broken a little bit? Well, that got worse and it completely came off. But on the bright side, I was able to land with the wing facing up. The paint's not dried yet, but we will still have painted the plane in midair. So, although we probably won't be able to fly again, this should have worked. Let's go check it out. So in total, I was only up in the air for like maybe 45 seconds. But that doesn't mean the paint didn't spread across the wing by that. I might have to come out here and do this again just to further proof the concept. But I am seeing a pretty awesome looking wing right in front of me right now. That is super cool. Okay, so it looks like our motor not only completely came off, but it decided to wrap the wires that were connected to the motor in a whole bunch of circles. Hopefully the motor is still working, but on the bright side, look at that paint job. I would count this as a huge success. Even though we were only in the air for like 30 seconds, a minute long, that's the majority of the time where that paint's going to be spreading out, and this was the result. That's pretty cool if you ask me. So I'm gonna bring this back over to where the rest of our stuff is and try to let it dry as much as I can. The paint's still wet, but the paint was spread out along the wing. Some of the paint reaching all the way down to the ailerons, while some other just kind of resting there in the middle. So it was pretty cool. I would say this is pretty successful. I will probably do this on future planes. Definitely want to try doing it with a much longer flight to see how that will work, because I feel like it's going to work a little bit better if we don't have such a short flight time. If we actually have lots of time for it to spread out along the wing. But even with just a minute of flying, it has a really nice spread across there. And at this point, it's not really spreading anymore, so that's really going to be the final look of the plane. But it's pretty cool, definitely worth it. Not going to be able to take this paint job off, but I don't think I need to. I think it's a super cool paint job, definitely going to keep it pretty unique. Not something, you know, not something most people have. It's not like you can walk up to someone and be like, oh yeah, this plane was painted in the sky. You're like, what? How did you do that? It's actually not that hard. So yeah, maybe I will make a plane soon. I think this would be a really cool thing to do on a wing, because just the wing sleekness with these like dripping things coming off the back of it, I just feel like that would make it look super cool. So I might try it on a wing in the future, but comment down below what plane you would like to see done in this fashion, and what colors you would like to see in it, because I am definitely open to doing some more planes, painting some more planes like this. I love this concept, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it as well. So that is going to be all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, and be sure to subscribe so you get notified for my future videos that I'm coming out with. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.